Welcome, welcome, folks. We're gonna get a little bit deep tonight, and I might get a little animated, but I'm gonna compose myself, right? Because I do have a point to really drive home. First and foremost, I'm gonna start with the tea. So I got the tea, and then I got the fruit bowl. The tea is moringa powder and turmeric powder. This is my moringa and turmeric mix. Quite possibly one of my new favorite teas. Um, Moringa and turmeric. Let me tell you something. You could do this tea, 2 to 4 times a day, and receive some tremendous benefits. Right? We're talking about heart health, lowering cholesterol, right? The LDL cholesterol, possibly even raising your HDL cholesterol, helping to reverse the type 2 diabetes, improve insulin sensitivity, brain health, all that type of stuff. Arthritis. This moringa and turmeric tea is extremely beneficial for arthritis, joint pain, connective tissue, hormonal balance, etc. Really important stuff here. And I guess I can get into that a little bit more on the stream. But first off, Donna Ann, thank you for the 2 mics and the rose. Appreciate you. Everybody, welcome into the stream. Tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about institutional failure. I know it's a bubblegum pink. Do you only eat fruit? No, I eat a bit. I eat quite a variety, actually. I don't just eat fruit. Do I have a link for the tea? It's not a tea I'm selling. It's just moringa powder and turmeric powder. You can order moringa powder on the internet, and you can order turmeric powder on the internet, or you can get it from a grocery store. So it's not a product I'm selling. I primarily am a provider of education and solutions, not really so much of selling, products and things like that. My thing is more coaching and mentoring. But the topic of discussion tonight is institutional failure. Institutional failure, right? Institutional failure is propped up on certain universal principles, right? Now, a lot of the times, even when I talk about political or sociological issues, I then relate them back to us personally, whether it be our health or our personal health, right? And I want to talk about institutional failure because I'm going to talk about it on a political and societal level, right? And this is a great platform to do it on, because I'm sure you guys have heard about the issues around TikTok, where the U.S. government, I guess, wants to ban TikTok, right? So you guys may no longer see me on these streams if they ban the app. We may have to pivot to another location. Which means that I got to launch an email list, right? Get the word out and tell y'all where I'm streaming next. But this inspired me to talk about institutional failure because, first of all, you have institutions. Now, institutions can be education. Institutions can be your electoral system. Institutions can be your banking system. Institutions can be transportation, right? Institutions can be military institutions, right? Things like all these different types of institutions, right? Law enforcement, the judicial system, all these different institutions. Now, if you're an American, if you live in the United States, what you're experiencing right now is you're seeing full-scale institutional degradation, institutional failure, right? In 1 week, we've witnessed the collapse of 4 banks, right? So you've had the collapse of Silvergate, SVB, Credit Suisse, and Signature, right? 4 banks in a matter of a week. The political system, right? Where you have, let's say, a Congress with a 14% approval rating, right? deeply unpopular. You have your last couple presidents, right, where they're not able to get an approval rating above 45%. And then, of course, you have capitalism, where we say, hey, we love the free market, we like competition, things like that, right? But now you have a government who is unilaterally now forcing people to sell their companies to their preferred partners. So you have the opposite of competition. You have the government stepping in to enforce things that violate competition that is supposed to participate, that is supposed to happen in capitalism, right? You have police officers in the United States. They're killing over 1,000 people a year. You've got medical bankruptcy. You got a failing medical system where the more you pay for healthcare as a society, the worse your health outcomes get, right? So you see, we're gradually paying more for healthcare, but our health outcomes are declining. So there's this inverse correlation. Usually, if you pay more, you should be receiving better care. But what's happening is you're paying more and you're getting worse health outcomes. So if you have heart problems, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, you have an autoimmune disorder, like let's say you have Hashimoto's, PCOS, you have some type of leaky gut disorder, gout, GERD, different things like this, right? And you go to your doctor for help, your doctor is not able to provide solutions for you to reverse your illnesses. At best, they can just give you pills and maybe a surgery. Hey, I'm having problems with my gallbladder. Let's cut it out. Let's get a surgery going. Let's remove your gallbladder. Right? Something goes wrong with a kidney. Let's remove it. Hey, I'm having thyroid problems. Let's remove it, at least partially. Hey, I'm having problems in my uterus, severe pains. Let's remove it. Let's get rid of it. Hysterectomy, baby. Let's do it. Let's start cutting stuff out. Cut it out, right? If you have colon cancer, let's cut it out. Just a little bit. Just a partial removal of the colon. We'll just snip a piece off. Cut it out. That's our medical system, right? Swallow these pills and let's start cutting stuff out of your body. It's very harsh, deeply problematic way of doing things, but this is how it's done. Our healthcare outcomes aren't doing so well with that. You've had a pandemic that just passed, overwhelmed the healthcare system. There was a catastrophe, massive nightmare, right? Institutional failure. I'm not bringing all of this up to make this stream about politics. It's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm basically having a conversation about institutional failure as a concept. Because us as human beings, we have our own internal institutions. In the same way we have our own internal constitution. Right? Your belief systems, the way that you operate mentally and emotionally, right, that's your mental constitution. Right? Your heart health, your cardiovascular system is an institution of sorts. Your gut microbiome, your digestive tract, your gut health is an institution. Your metabolism and all of the organs that govern your metabolism is an institution. Mental and emotional wellness, cognitive health is an institution. Right? And all of your institutions function through communication. Neurotransmitters, your nervous system, nerve endings, right? You basically have a bunch of like copper wires going all throughout your body. And they're sending all of these electrical impulses and messages, right, back and forth through your gut-brain axis, up and down your spine, and branching out all these different signals. And then you have these hormones, which are these chemical neurotransmitters, and they signal to your brain a list of instructions. They signal to your gut a list of instructions. And the gut bacteria that exists in your gut sends a list of instructions to your brain. And then your brain communicates back with your gut. And there's all this communication and messaging going around, right? Going back to our political system, why is it that we're having institutional failure? Institutional failure happens when you don't follow the rules that are supposed to govern that institution. There has to be rules to each institution. We have a culture that has normalized the violation of the laws that govern our institutions. The vagus nerve is what the communication line is called. You know, that's a big part of it. The gut-brain axis, right? Goes all the way from the base of your skull all the way down into your pelvis. Yeah, yeah. Runs along each chakra in your body, right? All throughout the midline. Now, if there is a lack of communication, if there is a failure to communicate, if there's a hitch in the communication at all, that will guarantee institutional failure. Right? If in lack of communication can be non-responsiveness. So I give you an example. What happens when you have a political body made up of politicians, legislators, and they're passing laws and doing stuff regardless of what their constituents ask for or what they want? Right? Let's say you have politicians and they say, hey, elect me into office, and when I get in office, I'm going to do A, B, C. And then you vote for them and they get in office and they don't do A, B, and C. What does that happen to the institution? What is that called? It's called non-responsiveness, right? The politicians are not being responsive or accountable to the constituents who have elected them, right? That leads to institutional failure. That leads to a lack of trust in the system. The lack of trust part is important. Okay, and I'm going to explain why. Because this, you can draw a direct corollary to diabetes. Let's say type 2 diabetes. Where is the failure to communicate? Let's say I ate a banana. Put it in my mouth, take a bite, chew it up, swallow. My gut starts breaking down the banana. Glucose from the banana then enters into my bloodstream, signaling a release of insulin from my pancreas. The insulin then binds with the glucose and is shuttled to the cells in my body in order to power the cells in my body. What happens when that insulin then shuttles the glucose to the cells and the cells are not responsive to the insulin? We call this insulin resistance, this non-responsiveness. That is institutional failure, but that is institutional failure of your metabolism. Right? Lack of communication. I'll tell you, I'm going to get deep tonight, right? Because this all acts on universal principle. One of the things that has helped me a lot to really be able to figure out very complex problems is finding out what the values are. What are the principles that govern a given system? It's important to know what those laws are, what those principles are. Because once you learn what those laws are, you do your best not to violate them. Because if you do, you are on your road to institutional failure. So your pancreas has elected to send insulin to shuttle that glucose into the cells, but the cells are not being responsive to the glucose and the insulin. In the same way where politicians would not be responsive to their constituents. Now, one is a political thing and another one is a biological thing. But they work the same way under the same principles. And when those principles are violated, it leads to institutional failure. Right? This generates mistrust. Now we get into the mistrust part. Generally speaking, we can look at fruit and all the benefits of fruit and say that I trust that if I have a diet that is abundant in fruit, that it will yield health benefits. Why? Because fruit's loaded up with water, fiber, vitamin C, a variety of antioxidants and digestive enzymes, vitamins, minerals, all types of different chemical compounds, amino acids, etc., that are all conducive to the healthy, stable functioning of my body, that allows my body to maintain an adequate level of homeostasis, right? I believe and trust that fruit is going to do that for me. What happens when you don't trust that? What happens when you lose the trust? It's the same way where what happens when you don't trust that your vote matters. Hey, they're just going to get in office and not do what they said they were going to do anyway because they're all fake and it's BS. Right? So you make a blanket generalization. Politicians, they all lie or whatever. They're all a bunch of narcissists, whatever. Your vote doesn't matter. So then you don't vote. Now, what happens if you believe, oh, fruit is just sugar and it's just garbage, doesn't have any health benefits or whatever, it's just a bunch of sugar, so I'm not going to eat it. What happens? The institutions don't work because what happens when you stop trusting the foods that yield the most benefit or that are supposed to yield the most benefit? Right? They're all corrupt for sure. That's the corruption. The difference in the human diet is the fact that it's a lot easier to tell what corrupt fruit looks like. Right? It's a lot different to tell, hey, this is a good source of sugar, this is a bad source of sugar. It's a lot easier to tell because fruit doesn't lie. Right? It is what it is. There's no lying going on. It's not hiding anything from you because it's natural and there's no perverse incentives. This is the beauty of food. And the more raw your diet is, the easier it is to tell how beneficial the food is going to be. It's naked. There's no hiding of anything. You see, like, if you look at this bowl, you see here, apples, grapes. Very easy to tell. It's not apple flavored. It's not grape flavored. It's not an apple-like product. It's not a grape-like product. It's not grape extract or apple extract. Or there's none of that. It's just grapes, apples. What you see is what you get, right? So if you can define what the foods are, this is the whole thing where people say avoid processed foods. What they really mean is avoid foods that are difficult to tell if they're beneficial or not. That's what that really means. What happens is you have a significant portion of your electorate where they're voting for politicians that don't have their best interests in mind, but they don't know that that's what's happening. In the same way where people are eating processed foods and they don't realize how bad those foods are for them and they keep eating them. Right? So the more corrupt politicians you get in office, the quicker on the road to institutional failure you get. In the same way where when you eat foods where you can't tell what those foods are or what exactly they're giving you, the quicker you're on the road to health problems. It's the same thing. There's a lack of transparency. Right? So that's what I'm talking about institutional failure, because it's very good to understand the nuance of this. It's very good to understand these things on this kind of level. Right? If you understand the principles that govern certain systems, you become a person, it's less easier to lie to you because you know the underlying principles of how things work, right? So people can't sell you a bill of goods. So that's why I go out of my way to explain this stuff on a fundamental principle level. It's a safeguard. I'm not here to sell you a bunch of products and tell you, hey, it's a 12% off if you order 3 of these or whatever, or there's none of that. Right? It's just straight up information and knowledge that you can carry with you for the rest of your life. And it's just fitting to talk about institutional failure because that's what we're talking about now. We are living in an age of institutional failure. Right? That's why I'm like, I have to talk about this, right? Because it's so drastic, right? When you see 4 banks fail, when you see medical bankruptcy at an all-time high, when you see the depreciation of your currency, right? You know, when you see that you're headed on the road to hyperinflation, when you see that your government is pushing for World War III, whatever the case is, all of this is just like institutional failure straight across the board. It's very difficult to not talk about it. Me, as a nutrition and somebody who is all about health, well, what does that remind me of? That reminds me of institutional failure happening in people's bodies. Here's how. Institutional failure in your body doesn't just stop with one of the institutions. It affects all of them. So if the politicians you elect are not doing their job, what happens is that puts stress on the financial institutions. You put stress on the financial institutions, that puts stress on the economy. You put stress on the economy, that negatively hurts the workers. You negatively hurt the workers, that impacts production. If you reduce and destroy production, then guess what? You starve your population. Everything falls apart. How does this relate to the human body? let's say you eat foods and those foods constantly create inflammation in your body. These are foods that cause vascular constriction, raise your blood pressure, cause you to be more insulin resistant, etc. It may just start with, oh, you're a little insulin resistant, so you're gaining a few extra pounds, right? In order to lose weight, and just do some exercise or whatever and eat less. So then you do some exercise, you eat less, but you maintain your same eating habits. Guess what happens? Your blood pressure drastically gets a little higher. You start getting sick more frequently. It's really difficult to lose the weight, etc. So then you go to your doctor. Your doctor runs some tests, whatever, tells you you're fine, gives you a bill, sends you on your way, right? You live a few more years doing whatever you've been doing. Blood pressure's now a little bit higher. You go back to your doctor. You say, yeah, your blood pressure's a little high. We'll give you some medications. We'll give you amlodipine, we'll give you, the beta blocker, whatever the case is, we'll give you some hydrochlorothiazide. We're trying to bring the blood pressure down. We'll see how it does. In return, these medications end up leading to more insulin resistance, which your food has already been creating for you. So then it leads to more weight gain, and it becomes more difficult to lose the weight. Now, the worse insulin resistance gets, the worse things get on your blood pressure and your heart health. Because if you screw up your metabolism, that affects your cardiovascular systems. These things are uniquely intertwined. Right? So you go back to your doctor's office because you don't really see any progress. You're still gaining weight. You're feeling a little worried. So your doctor says, oh yeah, you're a little insulin resistant. You're pre-diabetic now. Let's get you on some metformin. Let's get you on some long-acting, insulin, that type of thing. And just take this amount of units and just try to eat less carbs, right? So then you eat less carbs and then you exercise more, and then they say, oh, fat don't spike your blood sugar, so you eat more fats. So then you start having a bunch of turkey sandwiches. You start eat. Oh well, I guess seafood is fine because that doesn't spike my blood sugar, right? So I keep my blood sugars low because sugar is bad if you're diabetic, right? Miscommunication, like what I talked about earlier. You go to a doctor and they give you a solution that's not fit for the thing that you're trying to solve. Miscommunication. You're given the wrong solution. Miscommunication. It's kind of like in your body, if you're a man, you want to optimize testosterone output, but what happens when the testosterone that your testes are creating are getting aromatized and converted into estrogen? You don't need more estrogen, you need more testosterone. You start hemorrhaging testosterone, which then makes you more susceptible to heart health problems. You start losing muscle mass. You start losing motivation. You start going through depression and anxiety because you're bleeding testosterone. Cortisol levels start going up. You become more insulin resistant. Your heart's working harder because of all the stress and the vascular constriction. Oh, let me cut my carbs. Oh, fruit is bad because it spiked my blood sugar. And it spikes my blood sugar even more now than it used to be because you've been given the wrong information for years that you've been acting on. It's just making it worse. This is institutional failure happening. I'm telling you the steps to how this happens. Miscommunication. If your younger generations are trapped under a tremendous amount of student loan debt, if you just witnessed 4 banks collapse in a week's time, the solution isn't banning TikTok. Right? I think we can all agree on that. They're giving the wrong solution. In the same way we're giving you pills to fix a dietary problem is the wrong solution. I'm making a universal statement. I'm making a statement that can be applied to your health and can be applied to your political situation and your sociological situation. Why? Because all of these things are principles that apply to institutions broadly, universally. These are universal laws. This is probably one of the most important things you can talk about. This is Philosophy 101. Universal principles. These are things that are true objectively, which means that even if human beings were to no longer exist, these rules would still exist. These rules would still be in place whether we're here or not. That's why I'm a big fan of the rules. You can't argue against them. They are what they are. You don't even have to agree with them, but they are what they are, and they're not going anywhere. So you need to understand the rules. Right? So in the same way, you can ban all the social media apps you want, but that's not doing anything for people's student loan debt. That's not keeping the banks from collapsing. That's not putting any more money in your paycheck. That's not giving you a fairer economy. It's not doing anything for you. You can yell China all you want. That's not helping anybody. In the same way, they can put you on 3 high blood pressure medications, 4 high blood pressure medications, 5, 6. They can increase the dosage. They can do surgeries. You can do all that type of stuff. But if it's the wrong solution, it's not going to fix anything. So what's the right solution? Well, you got to go back. The only way, really, medication is going to fix your problem is because your problem is that you're lacking the medication. Right? If you're dehydrated, the goal should be to get rehydrated. The goal isn't to give you a medication that gets you adjusted to being dehydrated. If you want to deal with the dehydration, you got to figure out ways to rehydrate, not get your body used to just being dehydrated or get your body to function better while you're dehydrated. That's not going to work. So let's say your blood pressure keeps climbing, diabetes gets reversed, you go from pre-diabetes and you go into full-blown diabetes, your A1C goes from a 6.7 to a 7.8 to a 8.9 to a 9, 10, 11, 12. You end up being 250 pounds, 270, 300, 310, 320. And as you gain weight and get worse, your doctors keep giving you new medications, and now they're starting to give up on you, right? They don't even want to talk to you. You go in the doctor's office, and they want to have the conversations as short as possible, and they're kind of tired of you, and they look annoyed, right? Yeah, put a 1 in the chat if you've ever experienced that, where you feel like your doctor doesn't even want to talk to you. They look annoyed to even talk to you, and they hate it when you ask them questions. I'm not ragging on doctors. They're frustrated because they don't know what to do. Right? So I'm not saying this to demonize doctors. The problem is institutional failure. I'm not making a critique of people. I'm making a critique of institutional failure. I'm explaining what that happens. There's not going to be a person that's going to fix institutional failure. It's not going to happen. You got to fix the institution, right? So I see a lot of 1s popping up in the chat, right? You go to your doctors and they're irritated with you. They don't really want to talk to you. They want to keep the conversation as short as possible. They're struggling to not roll their eyes at you every time you ask them a question. You refuse to take certain medications because they're not working. They get agitated that you're not taking the medications. They don't know what to do. And then you just look like a stubborn patient who just doesn't want to do what they need to do. And then it's frustrating and it's problematic for everyone, right? And then you end up on a TikTok stream like this one where I'm explaining institutional failure. Right? So this is an important conversation to have because we are living in times that are going to be aggressively frustrating moving forward if you do not understand the rules of institutional failure. We are in the midst of institutional failure in an incredible way. It's a case study in how it looks like. So going back to the basics, the closer we can get to the principles, to the laws, right? Simpling and boiling things down, right? Moringa powder. Moringa powder is literally made from moringa leaves that are dehydrated and then pulverized and turned into a powder. And then you just take a 1/4 teaspoon of it and you put it in your mug. And then you take a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder and you put it in your mug and you fill it with hot water and you drink that and you watch your blood pressure go down and you watch your blood sugar start to stabilize and come down to a reasonable level. No medication needed. No high medical no high medical bills needed. Just a simple habit like that. This is how you start to fix your institutions. Right? You have to address the problems in your institutions. You don't just put a band-aid on them or try to force a pill down your throat in order to shut the institutions off or mold the institution in a way where you don't have to fix the problem. Right? So I drink this tea. This tea optimizes glucose uptake. It reduces stress through a variety of antioxidants in my body, right? And those antioxidants reduce oxidative stress and protect my cells from being broken down and damaged and destroyed by free radicals, right? Reactive oxygen species, toxins that may be floating around the body, right? Metabolites that become toxic to your cells. These antioxidants serve as a protection in that nice warm tea. adds to the thermogenic energy that goes on in your gut that's responsible for digesting and metabolizing your foods. Next comes the fruit. So the tea ends up being the prep. And then you have the food. Right? It's kind of like if it's real freezing outside and you get in your car and there's ice all over your windshield and everything like that. Your car is freezing cold, ice all over the car and everything like that. You don't just immediately turn the car on, just start driving, right? Well, we do this thing where you turn it on for a little bit, you turn the heat on, you let the car warm up, right? You gotta let the car warm up first. So you hydrate, you have some teas and whatnot, and then you eat. You prep your body. Prep. Get ready. Right? It's the same thing. If you own a store, you sell products. When you go into the store, you don't walk in with the customers and that's it. No, you walk in, you count the register, you turn all the lights, you make sure everything's right in the store, you put up whatever signs you got to put up, you start up your computers, whatever you got to do, make sure all your systems and your institution of your store is ready to go and open for business. Then you open your doors to the public. Right? This is how your institutions function. Even if you wanted to work out, you don't come in from the freezing cold and go in the gym and start sprinting top speed, right? Your body's like, whoa, what's going on here? Why are we running top speed? What's happening? Where's the prep? Right? So, one of the things that I like to do is when I create a plan for somebody who has chronic illnesses, one of the first things I do is wake up in the morning. I want you to have these herbal teas. We're going to bring up your metabolism, and we're going to optimize glucose uptake, get you ready to start eating. So the tea comes first, and then you have some nice, watery, sweet fruits that come afterwards. What we're doing is we're setting up to tackle stress. Because whenever you wake up first thing in the morning, you're ambushed by life. You go from sleeping cold. I woke up this morning, I was sleeping on my arm. I woke up, I couldn't move my fingers. My arm felt like it was cut off, okay? It was like it was not even connected to my body. I could barely wiggle my fingers. It was insane because I slept on my arm. I was sleeping so hard. I was dead. Okay? I woke up. I didn't know what time it was. I didn't know what time of day it was. I didn't know what day it was. I didn't know what my name was. I didn't know anything. I didn't know if I was a human being. I was like a newborn baby on day one of my life. I woke up completely disoriented. I had no idea anything was going on. I slept hard. I slept good. I woke up. I wasn't tired or groggy, but I was just like, oh my God, life. What is going on? Right? That's how you wake up every morning. You wake up ambushed by life because you go from a dead sleep where you have no idea what's going on all night. And then all of a sudden, you're up. And then you got all these responsibilities. You got to get dressed. You got to clean stuff. You got to eat. You got to go to work. You got to get there on time. You got to do all this stuff. If you have kids, you got to make sure your kids are up. You got to prep for them. Get them out the door on time. All this type of stuff. You get ambushed by all of this. One of the worst things you could do is not prep for your mornings. You wake up too late. It's the worst thing in the world to wake up too late. Right? Because you're thrown into the deep end of the pool, and the pool is cold as hell. The pool is the temperature of ice. And you don't dive, you get pushed into the pool with all your clothes on. That's what it's like when you wake up in the morning late. It's like getting pushed into the pool with all your clothes on, phone in your pocket, wallet, everything, keys in your pocket, coat on, everything. Boom, somebody come push you from behind, straight in the pool, freezing cold. No acclimation at all. That's what it's like when you wake up in the morning stressed, late and whatnot. Guess what that's going to do to your blood pressure? Boom, up. Right? Guess what that's going to do to your blood sugar? Boom, up. I'm curious, put a 1 in the chat if you're diabetic. I'm really curious to see what we got going on here. Because, and I'm asking this for a reason, right? Because I'm going to illustrate something right now. Now, if you check your blood sugar first thing in the morning, and you say, why is my blood sugar so damn high? I haven't even eaten anything yet. Right? You probably know what I'm talking about. So I see some 1s popping up, right? You see what I'm talking about. You wake up first thing in the morning, you're like, I haven't eaten anything, my blood sugar through the roof. Put a one in the, matter of fact, put an F in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. We got some pre in here, used to be, never been tested. Yeah, if you wear a glucose monitor, you probably know what I'm talking about if you check it. And you wake up and it's super high in the morning, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this whole being ambushed by life thing. That's what I'm talking about. Right? This is why it's very important to prep for your day. You want to get out in front of your day. You want to be proactive about your day. You want to be proactive about your life. And the reason why you want to be proactive is because you need to properly open for business. That's a big part of maintaining the functionality in the institutions. You can't show up to work. You're the store owner. You're responsible for opening, and you show up a half hour late with people lined up outside the door. It's not a good feeling. They looking at you like you're an asshole. Wait, what's going on? Right? Or you own a gym. You open at 5 o'clock. You show up 5:20, and these people have been standing outside since 4:45. Them hardcore gym rats, and they looking at you with disdain. Because they're like, you understand, I don't have time to BS around here. I'm here 4:45 in the morning trying to get in here early so I can get my machine or whatever and get my exercise equipment. I got to get my workout done and on time so I can be to work on time. And you making me late for work. You're destroying my day. That's how your institutions are. Because if you wake up in the morning and you don't prep, your blood sugar go up, your blood pressure go up. That affects you mentally. You don't feel good mentally, and that follows you throughout your day. It's a cascading effect. Same thing. It doesn't matter if we're talking about opening a gym, opening a store, or just waking up on time in the morning. Same rules apply. Stress. It feels terrible, like being pushed into the pool with all your clothes on and your phone in your pocket. You're trying to get out of the pool as quickly as possible because you know your phone ain't waterproof. You take your phone out of your pocket. You're trying to shake the water out and turn it on, see if it works, all this type of stuff. It's a terrible feeling. Heart racing, carrying on. You're angry, shocked, all these emotions and whatnot. Adrenaline flying all over the place. It's crazy. Now imagine every day is like that. You wake up barely on time every single day, and then you sleep poorly. You're getting ambushed by life day in and day out over and over and over and over again. That's going to lead to institutional failure. Now imagine you get used to doing that, waking up like that and starting late on a daily basis, and your diet's poor. Now you decide you want to turn things around, but here's the problem. I tell you, we got to clean up your food choices, we got to meal prep, and exercise. You're going to have the mental bandwidth and the emotional bandwidth to do all that? You're being ambushed every day. You're just trying to get through day by day. Your institutions internally are on their last legs. And now you got to do all of this organized, premeditated stuff. It sounds crazy. That's what that is. When people are like, I have a lack of motivation. It's not that you have a lack of motivation. You're being burnt out because you're not being proactive with starting up your institutions. You're showing up late. It's not that you can't do it. It's not that you can't show up on time. One of the best things you can do is stop putting yourself in a position to get ambushed. Show up earlier. Open up earlier. It's one of the best things you can do. Which means that you have to close on time the day before. Because if closing time is 9 o'clock and you end up closing 9:30, 10 o'clock, you're closing late. And we don't like to stay at work late. Because we stay at work late, we get home late, we eat late, we go to bed late, and then you got to wake up early. Those two things don't go well together. This is what I'm talking about institutional failure, by the way. All of this is related into that conversation. So this is more of a reframing and a mindset. The mindset's very important. I'm talking about the chemical stuff and the technical stuff sometimes, but we also got to talk about the mindset. Because people tell themselves, man, I don't know where to start. I just tell you where to start. Show up earlier and close on time. Get in front. Be proactive. Get in front of your day. Get in front of your agenda. I stopped setting alarms years ago. I don't have to set an alarm. I'm so used to showing up on time and showing up and being proactive. I wake up at the same time every morning, automatically, at the same time. My body just knows. I don't feel ambushed by life. I show up early every day. And it's not because I'm a super amazing genius person who has the genetic predisposition to do that. I promise you that's not what it is. The only difference is I just decided to make the decision. That's it. Everybody in this stream right now, you can decide to make the decision. We're really not that different. But it's important to know what decision to make. Right? This is why I show up on the streams and I eat fruit bowls and stuff. Fruit bowls will change your life. Eat 2 fruit bowls a day. Wake up every morning, herbal teas. You could do 1/4 teaspoon of matcha, 1/4 teaspoon of moringa leaf powder. Or you could just do 1/4 teaspoon of matcha with nothing else. Or let's say, I don't want to have a stimulant, raise my heart rate, whatever the case is. I'm sensitive to caffeine. Fine. Moringa ginger or moringa turmeric. Start with that. Ginger with a pinch of cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is phenomenal for the health of your lungs, right? Your upper respiratory system, okay? Cayenne pepper and ginger combined, they're spicy, but I'll tell you one of the things they do is they maintain the health of your lungs, your respiratory system. So any mucus gets cleared out. Oxygen uptake into your lungs increases. Hydration of your lungs is facilitated, and you breathe easier. And if you breathe easier, it's easier to burn body fat. It's easier to lose weight. Because, like I was saying before in an earlier stream and videos that I did, the key to fat loss is oxygen intake. More oxygen leads to more fat burn. Before we had all these pills, we had herbs, spices, fruits, and stuff that grew out of the ground. It's time to get back to the basics and stop playing around. Manual labor, right? Your body's covered in muscle. Start building it. Doing it sooner than later. 20, 30 minutes, hard resistance training, in and out and going about your business. Meal prep is hard. I'm not good at cooking. You don't have to cook. Fruits, greens, nuts, and seeds. All day. And show up on time and close on time. Right? So, as far as the institutions that govern your health, there's a variety of them, right? your constitution up top, your gut, right? Your metabolism, digestion, your gut institution, cardiovascular institution, circulatory system. And then, of course, your sanitation department, colon, kidneys, lymphatic system, right? Sanitation, getting the garbage out, right? Three things govern all of these. Health problems are institutional failure. Health solutions are optimizing three things: blood flow and blood quality, alkalizing the body, maintaining your pH level, gut microbiome, digestive health, digestive tract. These three things. Your lifestyle habits, your diet, all should be facilitating improving of these three things. That's it. Doesn't matter what your illness is. Doesn't matter what it is. Your body's a balancing act. Your body's like a seesaw or a tightrope. Homeostasis is right when you're in the middle, balanced on the tightrope. You fall off the tightrope, you lop off to the side, health issues, you feel terrible. So the goal, improve balance, maintain that homeostasis, stay on the straight and narrow. For those of you who, study the scriptures, y'all know about the straight and narrow, right? The narrow path. Folks, double tap the screen to like the stream. Yes, yes. I dropped some gems in it. I came with some energy tonight. Okay. And today was a raw day. Today was a raw day. No cooked food today. Let me catch up with y'all in the comments. Oh, I saw some stuff people talking about it was lagging. Uh-oh. I hope it doesn't come out like that in the replay. Just join what clears the lungs again. Oh, ginger and cayenne pepper together. Or you can do matcha powder and cayenne pepper. A pinch of cayenne pepper, not too much. You need a very small amount of it. I used to drink cayenne pepper with red onion and garlic every day. That's hardcore right there. Key the Elite, thank you for the crown. Appreciate you. How many pounds of food and vegetables for a man who's 235 pounds? I mean, it really depends. It's difficult to give you a solid number because your metabolism is a moving target. How insulin resistant are you? How active are you? Right? It largely depends on height, weight, age, the rate of your metabolism, insulin sensitivity, lifestyle. There's a lot that hinges on that. How many hours of the day you're on. And then, of course, what's your eating window like? Is your eating window 12 hours, 10, 8, 6? What's it like, right? Where do you get the moringa? I personally order the moringa powder online. I get it on Amazon. Water sound therapy. Yeah, absolutely. Are you punching somebody's clock? I don't know what that means. Oh, am I punching somebody's clock? No, I work for myself. I'm a full-time independent nutritionist and fitness coach. So I do this. I talk about this all day, every day. I'm obsessed, folks. Do I drink coffee? No. No, I do not. No alarms here. Yeah, there we go. FB Greasy, thank you for the rose. Appreciate you. That's right, folks. Double tap the screen. I know people was watching, taking notes. Hopefully, people taking notes or writing stuff down. I have a channel called Chubby Vegans on the Go. That sounds interesting. Shelly Rose, thank you for the rose. Appreciate you. Alonzo, what's going on, brother? Good to see you in the stream. Shoot me a message. Let me know how you're going. Let me know how things are going with you. Yes, yes, y'all. Let me do a little bit of Q&A, catching up with y'all. Gigi, thank you for the mini speaker. Riri, thank you for the rose, the multiple roses. Alonzo with the rose, thank you. Appreciate you. Is coffee raw? No, you can't. You definitely can't eat raw coffee beans. Look at y'all showing love in the stream. Big shout out to Dedicated for Life and Agnes. You know what I'm saying? Keeping the positive vibes in the stream. I appreciate y'all. Edna Baby 74, thank you for the rose. Appreciate you. Yeah, why is some vegan still big? Being vegan isn't enough. It's a start, but it's not enough. You got to be a little bit more specific than that. Oreos are vegan, but I don't think that's going to be reversing any kind of illnesses. Let me tell you something. You can get a vegan pizza with all type of oil and vegan cheese and stuff. That's not going to be reversing illnesses. You can make tofu nuggets fried in oil. That's vegan, but it ain't going to reverse any illnesses. We need a little bit more than that. Right? I like to keep it simple. I want to know what I'm eating. I don't want to eat apple-like products or apple-flavored products. I just want to eat apples. Right? When I get a melon, I want to smell it. I want to pluck it and hear the sound. I want to feel around, see how ripe it is. Right? I want to touch the soil, see how it feels in my hands. Right? We got to get a little bit closer to the earth we came from. I'm still in the fight, just making it stricter now, trying to do more raw. There you go. Yeah, definitely reach out to me, catch me up. You're still in the Discord too, so you can reach out to me in the Discord. Let me know how you're doing. Check in with me. I got an open door policy, folks. We appreciate you too, Coach. Then you for your dedication and thoroughness. I appreciate you, Gigi, rocking with me. You're one of the real ones for sure. Yes, yes. Dedicated for Life. Thank you for the boxing robe. That's a first. That's cool. Look at that. The boxing robe for the champs. I appreciate you. Thank you. Do I eat cooked food? Sometimes. I don't eat a whole lot of cooked food, but you know, I'll eat a few cooked meals a week. What'd you say about microgreens? Happy to have found you. I appreciate that. I'm happy you found me. Thank you for tuning into the stream, coming to hang out with me here. So yeah, talking a little bit because I know some people ask me about cooked foods. I eat cooked foods, but even my cooked foods are not really like. So I give you an example. Yesterday for a cooked meal, I had chickpeas, which you got to cook those in order to eat them. Roasted cashews, lentils. I had red lentils because I make red lentil sauce. So I'll boil down the red lentils. I'll put it in a blender with tomato sauce and a bunch of seasonings like turmeric and curry powder and cumin and cayenne pepper and things like that. I'll put that in there and blend that up into a sauce, and then put that over the chickpeas with the roasted cashews, and then I add avocado slices over it. and then I take that and I make a soft shell taco with some Greek style flatbread. So I did that yesterday, and that was my cooked meal for the day. Man, let me tell you something. That meal was so good, but it was huge. It was like a 14 or 1500 calorie meal. That one meal was like 86 grams of protein. And people would say to me, "How do you get protein on a plant-based diet?" Oh my God, I'll show you how. So it's okay to steam, or I think you meant pan cook some of the harder vegetables. Yeah, I mean steaming. Steaming or water frying. But you want the greens to still have a little crunch, and you still want it to have its greens, its pigmentation, right? So you don't want to cook it where it's all limp and it lose all its color and everything, right? You don't want to cook it too much. I'm new to this. What does it mean when my comment is pinned? Oh, somebody pinned your comment? Let me see what the pinned comment was. You said nuts and fruits. What else? I think I said nuts, fruits, and green leafy vegetables. Appreciate y'all sharing the stream too. Moderator pinned a comment. Oh, Gigi, you pinned somebody comment? Let's see here. I'm gonna try to find it. Do I eat raw mushrooms? Not particularly. No. Would it be a good idea to grow your own food? Absolutely, if you can. Yeah. Is it any nuts? My favorites are peanuts, cashews, pistachios, roasted almonds, Brazil nuts, macadamia nuts, pecans, that kind of thing. I don't really eat too many macadamia nuts or pecans though, but they are good. I just don't personally eat them, that often. I eat things in seasons, them in waves. How do I afford my lifestyle? Um, my food is not really particularly that expensive, so I'm not rich or anything like that. But then again, I don't really have crazy spending habits either, so I'm pretty conservative when it comes to spending. But my groceries, like if I go to the grocery store, I probably spend like $40 a week or something like that on my groceries. Today I went to the store and I got 10 kiwis, like 10 bananas, um, 8 grapefruit, and what else did I get? Um, I think that's about it. I got, and that cost me what, $20? So got a bunch of fruits in a pretty decent amount, in abundance, right? So, and then I basically just accumulate my fruits and whatnot throughout the week. And then, one thing that really offsets the cost of the food is the fact that, lentils and chickpeas are pretty cheap. They're not really that expensive at all. So, do I buy all my fruits and vegetables at the moment? Yeah. I don't have land to grow my own food yet. Have you ever grown or any fruits and vegetables? Now that's something that I want to do. All I need is just some land and seeds. But I'm telling you right now, when I start doing that, I'm definitely going to be vlogging about it. Thoughts on spirulina? Spirulina is great. Spirulina, to my understanding, is an algae supplement. Pretty much has a full amino acid and mineral profile. I think it also has all of the B vitamins, vitamin C, as well as fat soluble vitamins, A, E, and K. Not particularly too sure about D. Maybe though, due to the sun exposure from the algae. Um, yeah, I mean it's the closest thing you can get to like the best multivitamin you can find. Yeah. I'm from England, and fruits and vegetables are so expensive. I feel you. Um, what would I do if I was in England and fruits and vegetables were too pricey? I think my diet would probably largely be made up of things like carrots, cucumbers, leafy greens, and a variety of different types of legumes. Right, so I would probably be doing lentil stews, um, with probably pumpkin seed kernels and different types of seeds and nuts in there. Cabbage, all types of different types of cabbage, herbs and spices, and kind of just have stews and soups. I'd probably be doing stews and soups. That'd probably be a large part of what I'd be doing. Until I can move out of the country. He affords it by us sending him roses. That'd be amazing. I'd have to stream a lot more though to be able to buy my fruit with that. Um, but I mean, every bit helps though. You know. Donna Ann, thank you for the rose. Appreciate you. How many meals do you get out of that? Oh, out of the groceries that I just told you. Um, well, let's say if I bought eight grapefruits, that's enough grapefruits for 8 meals because I'll have one grapefruit with several other different types of fruits. If I have 10 bananas, um, I've been eating about two or three at a time. Kiwis, I eat about two or three at a time of those. So that's like 3 servings roughly. Because if I get 10 of them, then that'll be like 10. That'll be like 3 meals. Um, and then of course, if later, let's so like if I spend $20, that's half, and then the other half would probably go to things where I'll buy like a watermelon, a cantaloupe, and some grapes, things like that, and accumulate that. So I can get like all of my fruits and stuff for the week. Well, actually, it'll last a little bit longer than a week for like 30, $40 or so. I do raw oat pudding also. So the oats, they're pretty cheap. They last a while. So yeah, the oat pudding definitely that's a big thing for me. I do raw chocolate oat pudding, and then I'll add pea protein to it also. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, organic. I don't get everything organic, but things that I will get organic are grapes. I definitely get grapes organic. If I'm gonna eat the skin, I'll get so like berries. I'll get organic. Anything where I'm eating the skin. Apples, I'll get organic. You know. Huh? Grains, yeah, true. So things like oatmeal and stuff, I would definitely get those organic. What's going on, please? What's going on? Thank you. I appreciate you tuning into the stream. Good to see you in here. Does fasting help with loose skin? Um, I don't know how much fasting helps with loose skin. That I don't know. I think probably being hydrated, getting an abundance of vitamin C and collagen, collagen creating foods would probably be your best bet with skin quality. But yeah, pleaser, how's it going? It's going pretty well actually so far. It's been a pretty good year so far, so I'm definitely very appreciative. Do I take vitamins? I take B12 and vitamin D. What's my take on watermelon? Watermelon is one of the greatest foods on the planet. Watermelon is in like my top five of foods. Okay, watermelon is a big deal. Watermelon is what they call clutch. Definitely not too much sugar because watermelon is mostly water. I've been taking it from Vimery. Am I saying that right? Vimery, and I see muscle gain after atrophy. Oh, you talk about the spirulina? Spirulina definitely would help with some muscle gain, that's for sure. Lewis, what's going on, brother? Good to see you in here. I'm going to be going on a relocation to Panama. If I lived like it from going to move, Panama, you'll be able to get some good stuff there. So you anti-America? As in the continent or the country? I would assume you mean the country. Am I anti-America as a country? Um, Not necessarily. What I am anti is I'm anti anything that is detrimental to the institutions that facilitate life and wellness on our planet. Right. I am anti-institutional failure. I am anti that. I'm anti-narcissism. I'm anti-sociopathy. I am anti-war. Right. I'm anti-exploitation and abuse. I'm anti that. Yeah. So if you have a government that is comprised of war criminals, I'm against that. Yeah. If I am anti-politicians who destroy our economic and financial systems and the healthcare and education systems, I'm against that. Yeah. So we got to be a little bit more specific, but yeah. But one thing I am not anti is I'm not anti the people, right? I value my brothers and sisters, right, and the health and wellness that we all want to see in our life, right? We all want to be healthy, well, and free to pursue prosperity without pursuing it at the expense of others, right? Because achieving prosperity at the expense of others is ill-gotten gains. So I am definitely anti that. I'm anti ill-gotten gains. Do you eat potatoes or sweet potato? I'm more inclined to sweet potatoes. You know what I'm saying? The pigmented potatoes, those deep oranges and purples and whatnot. That rose is so you. Can you get some more apple? You're my new favorite TikToker, hands down. That's big. I appreciate that. Thank you. Is it better to eat seeded grapes and watermelon rather than seedless? Um, if I had to guess, I would say that seeded would probably be ideal. But there isn't a whole lot of benefit to eating the seeds, right? The best benefit from the seeds would be to plant the seeds to grow new fruit. But I mean, you can eat watermelon seeds, but your body's not going to be able to digest them and pull nutrients from them. So I don't really have strong opinions about that. I think that seeds are for growing, right? Not necessarily for eating. I think the seeds that your body is easier to digest are like the kernels of certain seeds, like pumpkin seed kernels or sunflower seed kernels, or chia seeds or flax seeds, specifically flaxseed meal, so milled flax seeds, and hemp seeds, right? Hulled hemp seeds. But you know, the shell, not so much. You're not going to be able to digest much from that. Starseed, what's going on? How you doing? Good to see you in here. Let me know how you doing. What's the progress report? And give me some good news. What's the update? Leafy greens needed to be organic. True. Okay, I'm anti-pesticides. All right, let's say that. When you can't get organic, just wash it with yep, baking soda and apple cider vinegar, yeah, or just white vinegar, yeah. Give them a good soak. Be right back. Gonna fix me some some sliced apple. There you go. When did I become raw vegan? I'm not really like 100% a raw vegan, but the journey started for me a couple of years ago. Right, like 2021, somewhere around there. It keeps lagging. I am anti-service internet service providers who are not spending adequate amounts of money on expanding the infrastructure so that we can have a better quality of connection. Let's see. Take a look at Dirty Dozen Clean 15. And that would tell you what you should get organic. Alright, yeah. There you go. Definitely Dr. Greger is a good resource. I learned a lot from Dr. Greger. Dr. Michael Greger. Dr. Neil Bernard. I learned a lot from Dr. Neil Bernard as well. Dr. Cyrus. Well. Soak well, then rinse well. True. Watermelon is magical, so is papaya. True. You know the deal. How's your arm, by the way? What's my take on sea moss? Sea moss is a lot like spirulina in the fact that, like, it's a full package deal, right? Full vitamin, a mineral, an amino acid profile, highly electrical food. That's nature's medicine right there. Good stuff. Pineapple, that's another good one, yeah. What about watermelon for type 2 diabetes? Let me tell you something. Watermelon will definitely help you if you got type 2. It'll help you if you got type 1 also. Watermelon is very good for improving insulin sensitivity and blood flow. A big part of watermelon, and the reason why it's so beneficial is because it has an amino acid called citrulline in it, which is a precursor to arginine, which is then used to create nitric oxide in your body, which then dilates your vascular system. It also has an abundance of potassium and vitamin C and magnesium, B vitamins like B1, etc. And is like 80% water, probably more than that. And the water is really important for staying hydrated And the more hydrated you are, the more oxygen rich your lungs can be. And taking in more oxygen into your lungs benefits you when it comes to fat loss in a big way. Because remember, optimizing oxygen intake is how you improve fat loss. So that's why watermelon is a big deal. Can you cure candida with eating all fruit? Or does it make it worse? If anything, it cures it because it stabilizes and balances your gut flora, right? So like with the candida, if you got candida overgrowth, a lot of the times it's due to a lack of fiber, excess amounts of glucose floating around in your upper gut, right? But when it comes to candida, if you really want to reverse candida, because I haven't seen the scientific research that shows that just eating fruit reverse candida, so I don't know if that's true. Fruit definitely doesn't make it worse. I haven't seen the evidence for that because I've had people with candida and they've just seen improvements. But candida, what would really be beneficial for that is things that are antibacterial, antifungal, like certain herbs. So things like moringa powder, ginger powder, or moringa tea, ginger tea, turmeric tea, adding cayenne pepper. Cayenne is a big deal also. Cayenne is especially beneficial for reducing candida, right? Garlic can also be very beneficial. Onions, right? So let's say if you do my raw taco salad and you put like your cumin, which is also beneficial towards reducing candida, turmeric, which is also beneficial for reducing candida, bell peppers, raw onion, which are also beneficial for reducing candida. And then you got your avocado and your dark leafy greens, right? So meals like that is what helps to keep that candida in check, especially with the herbal teas and things I just mentioned. That's right, anti-war for the W. Thoughts on frugivores? I got much respect for people who just are like hardcore, just 100% fruit-based diet. Well, not 100%. I don't think anybody's 100% fruit-based diet, but the real fruitarians, the hardcore like frugivores. Look, the closer you live to the equator, you live in a tropical zone. That's the life right there. You know, big shout out to them. I like a little bit more variety. Sometimes I like warm foods. I like a little bit more diversity. And then, of course, I like to be cost effective. Right? So there's that. But much love and respect to them, though. They got the right idea. I'm on a 90-day fast. Woo, 90-day fast. Man, is it you fasting for 90 days? You got to explain a little bit more about that. I've been on the fast for 36 days. Just drinking spring water. Man, let me tell you, you have the mental fortitude. Somebody said I don't answer questions. I might have missed your question. I don't think it's because I don't answer questions. Well, you got to maybe put your question back in the chat so I can see it. Exhale 1974, thank you for the 10 roses. Appreciate you showing the love on the stream. You juice sweet potatoes with carrot and orange. I don't think I would have ever thought to juice a sweet potato. I didn't even know you could do that. Juicing a sweet potato. That's hardcore. Sweet potato juice. Okay. Are my fruits organic? Well, these are in this bowl, yeah. Islam God, man, what's your nationality? Well, my nationality is, I guess, American. As far as nationality is, if you ask what nation I'm from. Hey, Starseed, give me the update. Let me know how you doing. Maybe I got to scroll down a little bit more. I'm probably not keeping up with the comments here. Let me see. I'm back. Did y'all save my seat? Do you just ever want a Snickers bar? To be honest with you, not really. No. I used to. You know what? I used to eat Snickers bars like every day at one point when I was younger. I used to eat like two a day. Okay, it was crazy. I had a Snickers bar addiction. But yeah, nah, I haven't really been in the mood for a Snickers bar. No. Favorite exercise in the gym, lifting wise? I don't know. That's a good question. I really like deadlifts. I really like overhead presses, barbell overhead presses, and the barbell back squat, and the bench press. Basically, all the powerlifting moves. Oh, and barbell rows. What's the best to use for blissum darkness around eyes? Well, I mean, if you're referring to dark rings around the eyes, that's usually a lack of poor sleep quality, and it could be an issue of poor kidney function. I'm pretty much healed. Thanks for asking. Okay, yeah, there we go. So we got the arm back, and we got the arm back. We're ready to get back to business as usual. Good to hear. Do you have to burn through 100% of your glycogen stores in order to burn fat? No. Your body's pretty much burning fat all day long. It's just that fat burn increases as glycogen stores deplete. My biggest flex is ridding of type 2 diabetes naturally. That's a flex. Showing up to the doctor's office with a clean bill of health and they're like, how you do that? That's a flex. What's your opinion on collagen? What is my like collagen as a supplement? I've seen some scientific studies that show that there is a benefit to supplementing with collagen, but your body makes its own collagen. So I mean, you could really just eat like a bunch of foods that are very conducive to collagen production, like a lot of what I eat. but but yeah, I think it's a good supplement to take that has its benefits, depending on the circumstances. If you wanted to add a little bit of that or something to a smoothie or whatever. Folks, double tap the screen to like the stream. My news feed keeps freezing. We'll try to tune in again. Oh yeah, I know my connection is on the struggle bus, I suppose. Wealthy Jeff, what's going on? I see you in here. I find when I go out and come back, it stops lagging. Huh. Huh? A what? Oh. Any advice on how you clean your fruits? And vegetables. Some Agnes said it actually earlier in the stream. Basically, just soaking the produce in water with baking soda and vinegar, soaking it for about 5 to 15 minutes or so, taking it out and rinsing it, and drying it off. Sweet potato smoothies taste like a pie. Sweet potato smoothie, man. Y'all put me onto some stuff. Y'all used to get the king size Snickers bars. You know, the ones that were $1.50. I remember when Snickers bars used to be 50 cents. Then they were 75 cents. And then they were $1. I witnessed my favorite snack food increase the price by 100%. Oh. The longest fasting record was 382 days. And the guy was still having bowel movements. I don't even know. I'm dumbfounded by that. I'm 1 year and 1 month clean from alcohol, my brother. There we go. Everybody give a big shout out to J Baby 5900 in the stream. 1 year clean. Coming through with the solid paperwork. That's what I'm talking about. We moving on, okay? We moving the nonsense. We condensing the nonsense. I love to see it. I did some 20 rep squats. The other day I was gassed. What do you mean 20 reps on a barbell back squat? Hey brother Esau. Who's Esau? Does white tongue mean health problems? I mean, it could, quite possibly. I mean, you got a lot of, basically, if you have like a thick white coating on your tongue, that's a lot of like plaque and stuff that your body is removing out of your body. That's a way that your body removes waste products from your body. Your body removes waste products from your body. So yeah, it comes out on your tongue. Right. So yeah, that's I don't know if it's an indicator of health problems, but I think that it's a thing that you generally shouldn't have. Is sea moss a jelly? People make sea moss gel, but that's not the original way that it is, though. Sea moss is a sea vegetable. And then people clean it and they boil it and things like that, and then they make a gel out of it. Yes, it's freezing quite frequently. Alonzo, thank you for the rose. Appreciate you. All the TikTok lives are lagging tonight. Oh, okay, gotcha. We are all on the struggle bus together, folks. Do I avoid corn, wheat, soy? Not particularly. I don't eat much corn, wheat, or soy, no. I do drink soy milk, though. I do that. But that's like 8 ounces a day. But I don't really eat a whole lot of soy these days. I don't have anything necessarily against soy. I think the only time people really should avoid eating soy is if they have a food allergy to it, generally speaking. Wheat. I'm not a big fan of wheat. I do have a special exception. The type of wheat that I am a fan of is kamut, which is an Egyptian ancient grain. Corn, I don't really have strong opinions about corn. I just don't really eat much of it, but I don't try to avoid it though. I do love cornbread. That is true. I don't eat it much, but I do love cornbread. I think I love cornbread though because I have special memories connected to cornbread. It has a deep meaning to me. My mom, I grew up with my mom making the most amazing cornbread in the world. You're awesome. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. I appreciate that. All the encouragement, okay? It helps more than y'all know. I really do appreciate the encouragement. Sounds like candida. Oh yeah, the plaque on the tongue. It could be. It definitely could be. It's generally not something that you should have though. Most soy or GMO. Technically, that's probably true, but the GMO soy is fed to livestock, not people. So, like, if you go to the grocery store and you look at, like, for example, tofu or whatever on the shelves, they're all organic, non-GMO. Thoughts on the duck flower detox? I don't know a whole lot about it. I heard it has a really strong smell. Doesn't taste very good, but very effective. But that's about all I know. Love the content and knowledge you put out for the world, bro. I appreciate that. Look at that. I got to the bottom of the comments here. We did it. We made it all the way through. What? Say that again. You said talk some more politics? I don't think I have anything else to say about politics. I think I pretty much covered it. I try not to talk about too much about politics here on the stream because um, it's a little bit outside of my wheelhouse for the purposes of this channel. But I will talk about it if it directly relates to our personal health. Yeah. Um, the funny thing is, I'm actually very knowledgeable about politics because I'm fascinated with political science. And I love how systems work. I like to learn systems and solve complex puzzles and come up with solutions. I love doing that. I'm very passionate about it. Um, but I wouldn't want to be in the world of politics just because I don't necessarily want to deal with that level of personality disorder. There's a lot of narcissism that is attracted to the realm of politics that it's a little icky, not really my ideal environment. But the reason why I like talking about health and wellness is because that's something that is much better at bringing us together as a people. Um, and I just feel as though it's much more beneficial to talk about because it's very difficult to engage in improving society, the health of society, if we are not healthy ourselves, right? So you have to start with the smaller stuff and work big. It's kind of like you can't get healthy unless you improve the health of all of your cells in your body. In the same way, a society can't be healthy if all the people in the society are sick, right? Um, so that's kind of my methodology. So basically talking more about health, how can we take better care of ourselves? How can we improve our own mental health? How can we be better caregivers? How can we just be better people on an individual level? And then come together as a people under the same principles that yield the best results, right? And structure a society around that. Like, what do we value as a people? Right? Do we value prosperity, well-being, and freedom that doesn't come at the expense of others? That's kind of like the thing, because, like I said, I'm anti-ill-begotten gains, right? So being against the exploitation of others, right? Whether they are human or animal. I'm against the exploitation regardless. I believe that people should be paid their fair labor value, right? And things like that. And when I talk about fair labor value and being paid according to your fair labor value, that's a universal principle, right? There has to be balance on both sides of the ledger. So imagine if you had too much of your water up in the sky while there was a drought on the ground. It's not good, right? That's an unstable ecosystem. So that's why the more water goes up, the more has to come down. If you have an economy where all of the water, money, is going up, and not that much of it is coming down, well, you have an unstable ecosystem there. That's the principle, right? So it's got to be circular. If you have an economy that's not circular, instead there's a choke point where it goes up and then it comes back down a lot slower. Well, what does that remind us of? That looks like kidney disease. That looks like high blood pressure, right? If alkalizing elements are going in, and there's not enough of the acid that's being pushed out, you end up having illness. What does that look like? That looks like kidney disease. That looks like GERD. That looks like gout. Acid reflux, right? That's what that looks like. It looks like jaundice. So it's got to be circular. It's got to be balanced. So this is why greed can't work in an economy. It's got to be circular. So you got poverty pushes wealth, and wealth pushes poverty. It's got to be circular, right? So there's got to be a consistent money changing hands. They can't be like, 10% of the population controls 90% of the wealth. That's a massive choke point. That's not functioning. That's kind of like 90% of your blood in one of your legs. Right? So your arms are numb and you're lightheaded and your stomach hurts and all of this type of stuff. But your leg has a tremendous amount of blood trapped in it, right? That doesn't work very well. It's got to be balanced. So when I make these arguments, I can take political arguments and make these arguments based on universal principles. It's impossible to argue against. It's just true. So I don't really argue for my personal feelings necessarily. A lot of it is just based on universal principles, and I think that that's something that we can all agree on. But it's got to start in us on a personal level first. If we can become a healthier, more intelligent, principled people, that's when things will really start to change. So that's my take on that. Having said that, I appreciate everybody tuning in to tonight's stream. Much love to everybody. And I will catch y'all next week, Tuesday. Have a good one.